Yo, YouTube, this is Angry Video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys what we're going to be building. We're going to be building out this beautiful gym. Alright, so let's say we want to go to the membership. It's going to give us this membership cards, and if we subscribe, even if we click on it, it's not going to take us from the gym. It's going to take us to a payment link that's by Stripe. We're not going to set up an e-commerce for this, so it's not going to be very long. It's just going to be a Stripe link for each membership card, and as you can see, it matched out the cards we selected. Let me show you that again. So if you select kickboxing, for example, it's just going to match that out because we have Sanity connected with Stripe links. So we just match out each link manually to the classes or membership. And then the contact form is done with email.js, and about section is done with Swiper, and also MDB Bootstrap and Google Maps. Finally, the whole project is done with the MDB React GUI and some super style sheets, okay? So if you want to check out the project, this is just going to be for like 2 hours. Just watch out the series, it's 15 videos. So see you guys in the series if you want to build out this gym and deploy it as well. This was Angry EDU and peace.
Alright, you guys, in section number 2, we're going to be setting up the project files and also the packages and the package manager we're going to be using today. Okay, so just to make sure you installed npm from the section 1, just do npm v, which stands for npm version, and node version as well. That's going to show you the version. So if you do have those installed, just do npm install, and then give it the flag of global and then yarn. And we're basically using yarn because yarn is a faster package manager than npm. So that is basically why we're using yarn, and I already have it installed. So just to make sure it is installed on your system, just do yarn v, and this is how you make sure it is installed. Okay, open up a simple browser, just keep it on the side. You don't really have to have this step, but I just like to keep the browser open up on the side for you guys to see the documentation. All right, and open up Visual Studio Code and keep the terminal or your command prompt or your Mac OS SH, and just search yarn create React app. And that is basically what we're going to be using, okay? So just make sure you have create React app installed globally, and also make sure that you have Sanity client to be installed globally, okay? So I'm just getting the command. I'm just going to give it a moment. Here it is. And just to add create React app, just do yarn add create React app, but again into your terminal or your command prompt, okay? And afterwards, that is it in terms of the front end. We're going to be using React for the front end, and this is also a way to start an application with React, so that is what we're going to use. But one last application, it is going to be Sanity client. All right, and Sanity client is just giving us an error right now. That is fine. So we're just going to Sanity client yarn, and it's just giving me some errors because of the Firefox. I'm just going to open it up on Chromium, and just copy and paste this, or you could just yarn add Sanity client. Okay. And that is pretty much it in terms of setting up the project packages globally, right? So all I need to do, like I said, just open up a Visual Studio Code, open up a folder on your desktop. Since we're creating a full stack gym company portfolio, that is what I'm gonna name it, and I'm gonna open up that folder. All right. On Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, you're just gonna press View on the top over here on the left, then press Terminal. Close this debug console. Press here on the right, and then split Terminal, and open up another PowerShell or Bash or SH for Mac. Open up your super user just for Linux. And this step is just for Linux users, by the way. So you could just CD out of your directory and clear. I'm just going to show you something. If you do LSLA, you're going to find out that the full stack gym company portfolio just does not have all the writing permissions that we need to keep saving the project files. So we're just going to do that. So to do that, we're just going to do chmod recursively 777 and then full stack gym company portfolio. And if we do let me just clear that, LSLA, right now we're going to find that it's green and we could save the file permissions for Linux. All right. If you don't do that, it's just going to give you an error when you try to save the file that you don't have permissions. So just make sure to do that. All right. So let's get to it. All right. So in terms of the front end, all you need to do is yarn create and then React app, and the name of the app is going to be front end. Let's call it gym front end. Okay, and as you can see right now, we're creating the front end folder. And in terms of the backend, create. Actually, let me just go into the Sanity documentation. So Sanity quick start. Sanity quick start. And again, it is not working just on my Firefox for some reason, but that is fine. Sanity docs. I do remember the command. I just want to show it to you guys. So here it is. Nope. Here it is. Yep, Sanity init. All you need to do is actually just Sanity init. And right now it is just asking us for a login. So I'm just gonna log in. Okay. So I just logged in with GitHub, and I'm just gonna cut out this section while I'm logging in. So I just logged in. So you could again log in with whatever you would like. And after logging in, it has this option that it's showing us. So it's telling us, should I create a new project or select a project to use? We're gonna be creating a new project, and the project name is gonna be Gym Company Portfolio. And it is asking us to use the default dataset configuration, so we're going to be yes. And right now it is asking us where the project output path we want, and that is the one we want. We just want to make sure that we select a clean project with no predefined schemas, because we want a blank project. And as you can see right now, we have the backend folder installing, and we can just rename this to backend after it is installing. So I'm just going to clear the front end, and I'm just going to cd into the front end. Okay, cd into front end. cd, oh yeah, I called it gym front end. And yep. So to start the front end server, all you really need to do is just yarn start. And if that doesn't work, you could do yarn dev. So I'm just going to give it a moment while it is starting, and I'm going to close all of these. Let's just keep the Chromium. While the packages are just installing, okay? I'm just going to give it a few more moments. And if you refresh here, you're going to find out that right now I'm using a different Sanity account, so it's not going to show up here, but that is fine. So I'm just waiting for it to end, okay? And if you just go into localhost 3000, here it is, our front end right now. It is empty right now. We still have the basic React application template, as you can see. Let me just put this to the side. There it is. And right now we also have our backend initialized. So we're just going to cd into our backend, which over here right now it is called Gym Company Portfolio. I'm just going to change that into backend. And let's also change this into just front end, which is just simpler. And we could just keep this as it is, actually. All right. So why is that happening? That is fine. Maybe because just we changed the file name, which is fine. So we are just gonna do yarn start again. Keep the file name as it is, gym front end, and we're just gonna cd into our backend and do yarn start. If that doesn't work, you can also use sanity start. So we're just compiling that. And I'm just currently waiting for the backend to compile. Just give me a few more moments. So here it is. If we go to local host 333 and just log in, here it is. As you can see right now, we have a empty admin panel that is a gym company portfolio, and we're going to be starting adding in content. All right, so we could just minimize this terminal tool over here and keep these project files on the side. All right, so let's start by creating the front end structure. So in our front end structure, just go into our source folder, create a new folder, call it components, and okay. So it is not giving us permissions, so that is fine. cd out of it, like I showed you at the beginning of the video for Linux users, recursively, chmod recursively 777, and then the folder name. Okay, let's also do the same thing for the back end. And as you can see, it's even rebuilding the bundle. So we're going to cd back into our front end, which is called gem front end. So cd gem front end, and then yarn start again. So if we create a new folder right now, that is going to work. So again, components. Afterwards, we're going to be creating pages, and afterwards we're going to be creating sections. All right, in the components, we're going to be creating a new folder. All right, and inside that new folder, we're going to call it membership cards. Another new folder, and we're going to call it nav. Another new folder, and actually let's create just the files itself. So membership cards .jsx, and that is also for the navigation bar. So nav.jsx, and also create a super style sheet file. So membership cards super style sheets, and nav super style sheets. Okay, so actually for us to use super style sheets, we need to just install it, but I'm gonna keep that at the end. So let's continue installing the components. We're also going to create another folder, call it footer. Create a new footer.jsx file and footer.superstylesheets. Okay. Also, I need you to install an extension in Visual Studio Code that is called ES7 React Redux Native Snippets, and that is basically going to allow us to do this. So if we go RFC in our footer, we're going to be able to do a React arrow functional component very fast. So RFCE into all our components, all right? And I just did Control A, Control S, and Control W to close all these tabs. Okay, so let's continue. Afterwards, I have the nav docs. All right, again, nav dots.jsx, nav dots.superstylesheets, and this is gonna be a button navigation that is gonna help us scroll through the section, which actually we do not need, but for now let's keep it. Classes cards, which is going to hold all our classes cards. So classes cards.jsx, classes cards.superstylesheets. Afterwards, we're going to be creating a contact form and call it contact form.jsx and contact form.superstylesheets. And we're almost done. We have two more components. That is going to be video bg, and that is going to be video bg.jsx, video bg.superstylesheets. Also, again, do rfce in all the components. rfce. So what else? Yep, the nav docs, rfce, and yep. So Control A, Control S, and then format the document, and then Control AW. So right now we have all our components installed. We have one last component actually, that is going to be the social media. That is going to hold our social media icons. So social media.jsx, rfce, and social media.superstylesheets. Okay, so we can import those style sheets, by the way, for each file, but that is not necessary for now. We could do that when we get to each file. But again, just make sure to have all of these super style sheets mentioned in their according files. So that is pretty much it in terms of the components. In terms of pages, we are going to have actually just 4 pages, and sections, we're going to have 2 sections. Why? Because in terms of our pages, our home is going to hold up a home page, and also is going to hold up the about section. So we're going to basically be able to scroll to the about section in the home section using the navigation bar, and then go to the other pages using also the navigation bar. So don't worry, I'm just explaining everything, and let's continue. All right, so in pages, we're just going to do Home.jsx as well, JSX, and also Home.superstylesheets. Make sure that they're in their correct directories, and another folder that is going to be contact. Okay, and also in the contact, we're going to have a Contact.jsx, rfce, and also rfce here. So contact.superstylesheets. And like I said, we also want a membership. Okay, and also we could do classes. All right, so we're just going to create the files for them. Classes.jsx, classes.superstylesheets, rfce. All right, and just in the membership, also the same thing, membership.jsx and membership.superstylesheets. Alrighty, so one last thing is going to be the sections, and like I said, we're going to have 2 sections, and that is going to be the home section. So we can just call it home sec, and another folder is going to be called about section, because these are going to be in the home page at the end of the day. So that is why we have a sections folder, a pages folder, and a components folder. So about sec.jsx rfce. We're also going to do the home sec.jsx rfce, control A and S everything, and control W. And that is it in terms of the sections as well. But in each folder, we're going to create a new file and we're going to call it index.js. And this is basically going to help us organize our exports. Okay, so I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm just gonna leave it up later, but I'm just continuing on with the project structure. Okay, we also want a client.js, which is gonna connect our backend to our front end. Okay, just make sure that is in the source folder here, just right outside that actually. Okay, what else? Yep, in the source folder. All right, so let's create the index files that we want, and also we're gonna be creating the backend afterwards. Okay, so just bear with me. Create a new file, call it index.js, and do export. Okay, default as classes from, could just get the classes and then classes. Yep, and then we could alt shift and arrow key downwards. That usually works, but since I'm on Linux, just the keyboard layout is switched, so I'm just going to copy and paste this 4 more times, and that is going to be membership, of course, as well from membership, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to do that, membership, and then home, and a lot of people are going to be asking, why am I doing this? I am doing this basically because when we are getting these components or pages or whatever React component we're going to be using, I don't want our project to be non-organized. So instead of like having a lot of imports over here, like having like this, for example, you know what I mean? If you don't, then you just saw an example. We don't want this to happen. So instead we could just, let me show you, import home classes membership, and we could just basically use these pages from pages and then the index. So as you can see right now, we could use these components. What else? Contact. Okay, let's remove these actually from the app, this old code, and let's just check out our front end right now. We just want to do yarn start again, and we're just gonna put in the components over here. Okay, so home, and then classes, and then membership, and then contact. All right, so imported as contact was not found. Okay, that is fine. So export. Okay, so we just have a simple typo over here. contact was not found in contact. Okay, so what seems to be the issue? Alright, so it does not have an export default over here. That is fine. So export default and then contact. And that is why we had this error, right? So if you go back into our app.js, save that. Right now we're not going to see anything, but we're actually supposed to see the pages itself. So right now that is a little bit weird, but that is fine. We're just going to control A over W everything. Go back to our app.js. Let me just write anything over here just to test. Okay. So why is it not showing anything? Okay. We could just actually remove these and just add in some empty fragments. Anyways, we're not going to be using the structure. Okay. We are actually Alright, so basically it's just telling us that there are some components over here that are probably not exported correctly. So yeah, we don't have membership, so we just need to do our FCE. And here it is. So that is the basic pages that we're gonna have. And actually to set up our pages, we are going to be installing something called Yarn React routing, but I'm going to do a section for that. Let's continue, right? So we have the sections, we have the components. So I'm not going to do that all over again. I just did in the pages, but for you guys, I'm going to do it because I just want to make sure everything is correct. So we're just going to export everything from here as well. Classes cards. You could just rename it and just copy and paste like I'm doing right now, instead of just wasting time. Order. There's even a better shortcut for this, by the way, you guys. I just right now I'm not able to remember it, to be honest. So I'm just gonna continue on copying and pasting, and we're just gonna do this. Wait. 2 more times, and we're gonna be continuing on from the nav. All right, nav dos. And again, you guys, this is gonna help us a lot later on, because we do not have to import everything on its own from the component itself. We have it in an index.js, so our components are organized. Social media. Again, you could just skip this part if you want to. Well, I'm just copying and paste this. You could do this on your own. I think you got the concept right now. Export default as contact form. So what is the issue here? Contact form has been okay. So yeah, social media is already. So yeah, the one last thing is video background. Video background. So we're done. All the components right now are in our index.js, and that is it pretty much for the front end project structure. Let's go into our backend, and in our backend we already have a schema.js. We're just going to create two new files, and we're going to call it About.js. Also, membership.js. Also, one last file that is going to be Classes.js. Alright, so Control A, Control S, all everything, so that you save it. And that is it pretty much for the front end and the back end in terms of the project setup. Alright, so in the next section, we're gonna be starting doing the front end, and afterwards we're gonna be going to the about section and connecting the back end. Okay, so see you guys in section 3. Alright, you guys, so like I said, in section number 4 right now we're gonna be doing routing in the front end, and in order us to actually start using routing, we're gonna be installing some packages. And the only package you actually need to install, it's called React Router. And you can install it on Yarn. And that is what we're going to be doing right now. So Yarn add React Router DOM at 6. And that is the latest version of Yarn React Router DOM. So I'm just gonna let it install, and it is already installed. So I'm just gonna Yarn start again, and I'm gonna show you an example over here of routing. So we do not need everything that is in here, but we need to wrap our application in a browser router, right? So let's do that. Let's go into our app.js. Okay, and we're just gonna import browser router from React Router DOM. Okay, and we could also do this. So import browser router as router, and we are also gonna import routes and route. Okay, so let's first off, like I said, wrap our application into a router, which is basically the browser router. We're just renaming it. Okay, and inside that router we're gonna add in routes, which is gonna be the routes for all our pages, and then route and path is gonna be for home, for example, is gonna be this. All right, so let's copy and paste this 3-4 times. Also, let's change classes to be classes. So classes, that is going to be the link, membership, and one last thing, the contact page. All right, so let's change up right now the components, membership, and this one is going to be contact. Okay, let's check it out. All right, so right now we cannot find any difference because we still have these. Let's remove these, and right now we have an empty application, and that is fine because we go into classes. Okay, so actually let me just double check everything. Okay, so we have the router, and the router is wrapped. Okay, so React Router version 6. Let me just double check the concept over here. Okay, so that is supposed to be an element, not a component, because this is React Router DOM version 6. So that is fine. We're just gonna change that. And path is correct, all right? For now, let's just double check that. All right, so path is classes contact. Let's double check that, all right? Okay, so this is still functions are under. Okay. Functions are not valid as a React child. This may happen if you return a component instead of a component from render. Okay, this is why it's actually not working. We just need to return these as components. So, yep. I apologize. I just dealt with React Router DOM version 5 and version 6. So this is the version 6 syntax. So here it is. And it works right now. So let me just refresh that. If we go to classes, classes is going to work. If you go to membership, membership is going to work. And also contact. Okay, I just, yep, contact. And that works as well. And if we go into, it's going to take us to home. So that is it in terms of routing. See you guys in the next section. We're going to be installing the CSS framework we're going to be using for today. And that is it for section number 4.
Yo, what's good YouTube? This is Daniel with you, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a navigation bar just like this. Alright, so this was done in MDB Bootstrap. It is dynamic and it is on mobile. It also accepts sections and links. So we can go to another page or go to a section in a page, for example. I just don't have the sections themselves right now. That is it. So let's get to it, alright? Alright, so I'm just gonna take this code back to this file over here, keep it there. Alright, so all you need to do is just import React from React. Then we are just gonna import these. I'm just gonna copy and paste those from here, from the MDB React UI kit. Alright, afterwards, we just need to do a arrow function. That is gonna be RFCE. You can also do that. Const nav equals to arrow function, and then just the return statement, and we could just do an empty fragment for now. All right, so that is an arrow function. We are also going to be doing something called a use state, like this example over here, and this is just done to basically just show the navigation bar and also hold the state for the nav itself. So basically what we just did over here. All right, let me just do this in the code, and we're just going to import useState from React. All right, I'm going to explain this. All right, so basically what this is just the show navigation bar is just basically another constant that's going to hold the value for false. All right, and basically we just wanted to, when we click on it, we wanted to change it to true. And that is the logic that I have written over here. So basically set show nav, and just I did, instead of false, not false, so that would be true. So that is pretty much it. All right. All right, afterwards, so let's get just back here. Afterwards, you are just gonna do the MDB navigation bar, the GUI. So if I just go into the references over here and I show you the MDB examples, if you are, you just need some more examples you could use over here. So here it is, the documentation. And we are going to be dynamically getting the links for the navigation bar, right? So for now, we need to do just one last thing. We just need to export the arrow function itself, all right? So right now we don't have anything in it. We could just return a paragraph that says nav just to make sure it's there. Yeah, here it is. And let's get to it, all right? So first of all, we just need to do an MDB container, and that is going to be loaded, all right? Just like in here, right? And inside there, we can also do an MDB nav bar. And inside there, we're going to copy the container, add it there. Then we're going to add the MDB nav bar brand. All right, inside there, we're going to add in an MDB link, nav bar link. And that is going to take the class name of basically link info. And if you want to check what that is, basically that is just the colors for MDB Bootstrap. So as you can see, let's just give this link an href, which is an HTML attribute that just adds in the location for the link. So here it is. It's an HTML attribute, but over here it's used as a property in JavaScript. Okay. So here is the first link. And also, if you want to get the dark navigation bar, all you just need to do is class name, dg dark, and you're done. Afterwards, after the link, we also want to add in the icon that is over here. All right, and we're gonna give the toggler on the icon. Okay, so this is gonna basically be responsible for getting the menu, for opening the menu. I'm sorry, and on click that. Okay, we wanna set show nav. All right, yo. I just need it to be an arrow function and to set show nav. All right, and in that set show nav, we want it to be not false, like I said, so we could open up the navigation bar. So let's just do that. But one last thing, we just need to add in the MDB icon. And also, if you want to check out the React MDB icons, you could just search for that, and I'll also add the references over here. Here they are. You could just search whatever icon you need, like quirk, for example, whatever. Okay, so I actually forgot the name of the icon, so I think it's dumbbell, but just let me dumbbell, all right? And then you could just copy the icon and just put it over here. Okay, go back here, and also we can give it the class name of text info, for example. So that is just gonna make it blue like the other one. A margin xf2, for example, just gonna make it a little bit closer, or a margin yf2, but that's gonna make it, yeah, back at place anyway. Okay, right now we have the toggler, we have anything, but we do not have the content that's gonna be collapsible. So let's actually think about it for a second. We want a dynamic navigation bar that is gonna basically have some links and some sections, all right? So that is possible, but we need to do just some, like, couple of simple steps that are going to be pretty easy. All right. So first off, we just need to assign the navigation links we want, and that is just going to be an array that holds a number of strings. Okay. And first link is going to be home. Second link is going to be about. And about is going to be a section. We are also going to add in, let's check out the pages. All right. Classes, membership, and then contact. Okay. So to display these links dynamically, all we need to do is just open up a parentheses. We're gonna get that const we just defined, and we're gonna do a map method, which is basically gonna hold the array, and we're gonna map in a link and then the index. And this is just the normal syntax. And then we are just gonna return an empty fragment, and between that empty fragment we could return whatever we want. So let's just return the link for now, and actually let's give it an MDB nav bar link. Okay, give it an href of also the link, and the key is going to be link plus the index, just to be unique, and link dot replace. All right, replace is basically just another method that it's going to be replacing the string of the section. So when we display the link itself, we don't want the section to have that hashtag for the user. Okay, let me just see what I mean. The about itself does not show the hashtag over here because it is a section that is going to be at the home page. Okay, and let's just okay, also home was a section actually, so let's do that. Yep, and this is supposed to be a link as well, so let's also add to this a link. Okay, so all right, actually no, keep it as it is right now, and let's actually create the collapsible items. All right, and actually all we need to do is just do an MDB collapse and add in the links over here. Okay, there's something wrong. Okay, that's empty fragment. Okay, what's going on? Oh, here it is. Okay, let's refresh that. Okay, so now we have an issue right now in the toggle. So let's just check out the console for now. Developer tools, then console, right? Okay, link cannot appear descendant of A. Okay, and also each child in list should have a unique key prop. All right, that is what I did over here. Let me just double check what I did before. Collapse. Okay, yeah, I didn't just add this. And also we need to add in the MDB navbar nav. That is the syntax, literally. That is going to be taking the items that is in the MDB navbar. We're just going to take what we just mapped over here. Let's check that out right now. And here it is. Boom. Okay, so afterwards, just we are going to give it a class name. and that is going to be a link info margin y of 2 margin x of 2. Let's check out how it looks, and that is better. And that is pretty much it. You got yourself a simple dynamic nav bar in MDB Bootstrap that uses useState hook. Okay, and we're also using the array over here, and we're assigning a const. Afterwards, we're just mapping over that const, that array, basically, using the .map method, which basically holds an array over here before the .map method. And inside there, we're taking the two parameters over here that is in the syntax of .map. Just check out the references that I have over here, the MDB, the array actually, ported the map from Mozilla Firefox, like developer network tools, I think, or like, well, I don't know. They're called developer MDN, MDN web docs. Yeah, here it is. So just check out these docs, and that is the simple method of the dot map. We're mapping over the link and the index, and that is going to be the key. We're going to take the href of link, and we're going to take the link string over here. We're just going to replace that hashtag with an empty string because we don't want that empty string to be shown for the end user. And that is pretty much it, you guys. All right, so let's comment palette format the document, remove these, and just save it, and you're done. All right, so see you guys in the next video when we're going to be doing the dynamic footer as well. So this was AngryEDU, and peace.
Yo, it's good YouTube. This is Angry to you. And today we're just gonna be doing an optional video, but it is very important to back up your project. So let's get to it. All right. So all you really need to do is just go into GitHub. All right, and just sign up to GitHub. Create a new repository from here on the left. All right. Name it whatever you want, but you could name it in this syntax, and then like spacing, and then it will just put in these commas. You could select public or private, add a readme. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is just like add it private for now because it's a development project still. It's not a published project. If you want to make it public later, you can. So I'm not going to do that because I already have that. So here it is. Okay. So I'm just going to put that to the side. And all you need to do is just open up your project in view terminal. Okay. So I already have that open. And make sure you're just in the directory of your project, like the outside. If you have a backend and a front end, like this project over here. So all you really need to do is just git add, okay, and see it gives us an error, and that is fine. So we need just to initialize our git repository. So here it is. We just initialize the empty git repository, and as you could see, all our files are now green. So we could initially do something called a git.ignore. So just make sure you have a git.ignore in your backend folder and your front end folder. Okay, you can also add a readme, so readme.md. Okay, and just add in a title in the markdown language. Okay, and just clear git add, which is gonna git add everything, git commit m, and then you could give it a message like an initial comment. Okay, then we're gonna git branch and then the main branch. Some people call it master. I call it main in my GitHub. And git remote, and then add the origin. And the origin is gonna be just a link for your repository. Okay. And then we're gonna git push upstream origin main. Okay, so if we refresh that, you're gonna find that all the project files have been added, and without the node modules, because we have the git.ignore, just remember to have this git.ignore. This is just a regular template file for the git.ignore. So it is, if you want to check it, it is existing in the backend and the front end, and that's why we don't have these here. So when you just install the project again, you could just yarn install that instead of having the node modules on your GitHub. All right, so that was backing up your project on GitHub. See you guys in the next video.
Yo, what's good YouTube? This is MDB, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to connect your backend to your front end. And I have a simple example over here. I'm just going to change the video link over here. Okay, but I'm going to do that from my backend. And as you can see right now, when I open this on full screen, you're going to find out that I have a home content schema type of home, and I just have it in a property of video background link. So if I just change the video to this link, it is just going to take a minute or two and it's going to update itself dynamically. Okay, so that is why we connect the back end to the front end. It's going to take like a minute or two to actually show the video, but I'm going to show you how to connect the back end to the front end. Okay, so in the previous videos we just made a simple file over here in the source folder. It's called Client.js. Right now I'm gonna keep it empty for you guys. Okay, and this is not gonna show anything on my website, so let me just refresh that, and I'm just gonna explain to you. So yeah, as you can see right now, the video has updated. So I'm gonna help you first off just do the client.js. So to start building the Sanity client and connecting the backend to the front end, you just need to install these two packages, which is add Sanity client and add Sanity image URL. So to add them, all you really need to do is just go into your front end folder, okay? And afterwards, just do yarn add and then the name of the package, which is add Sanity client. Okay, I already have that installed. So yarn packages, if you also want to check that out, here it is. I'm just going to give it a moment while it's installing. So this is the package, Sanity client, and also yarn package add Sanity image URL. Okay, and the Sanity image URL is going to be used later on for grabbing pictures in our project dynamically. So it's going to grab our image URLs from the Sanity content. Okay, so afterwards just yarn add the Sanity image URL, which is the second package you're going to install. So I'm just going to give it a moment while it's installing. And I'm going to update back the video that I had before. I'm just going to go to my back end over here. Okay, and publish that. Just while the front end package is installing, okay? So after it's installed, just yarn start again the front end. So, and then import these two files, okay? So let me just remove everything and let me start from scratch with you. So import Sanity client, and here's the demo. So I could just copy and paste this from here, but I'm gonna do it like I said from scratch. So import Sanity client from
at Sanity client. So yeah, in the demo, just like in the demo, and we're going to import also the image URL builder. Okay, image URL builder from Sanity image URL. Okay, not all of this, just from Sanity image URL. And then we're gonna be defining the Sanity client. So it's just giving me the error right now because I do not have the client.js Sanity client. So we are just gonna do that. So we're just gonna export the const and we're gonna call it client. And in it, we're gonna have the Sanity client. Okay. And between the Sanity client, we're gonna start adding in the properties. Okay. So I could just copy and paste this, but I'm gonna explain each and every one for you. Okay. So first off, we have the project ID and the process.env.sanity, uh, the process.env.san like React. Okay. So first off, let me just explain everything simply. So here is the property and it's called a project ID. And in it, we have the process.env. And what is a process.env? Basically, we're going to be getting these two Sanity tokens over here. And to get these Sanity tokens, all you really need to do is just log into your Sanity portfolio. Okay, let me just go to here. Okay, and after going to your Sanity portfolio, all you just need to do is just log in and go into your API tab over here. Add an API token. So I already have two, but I'm gonna add another one for you. Make the permissions editor and then name it whatever you want. You could name it Sanity Content Alternative, for example. Okay, and just make sure in your course origin you have HTTP localhost 3000 to be added and allow credentials. I already have it, so it's not gonna add it. Okay, and what else? That is it actually. But you are just gonna get that API token you just added. Okay, and do you see that env file that I created? This is basically, simply to put it, is just a file that is gonna hold your API tokens but securely so that nobody else accesses it except you. And to get the required API tokens that you need, this is the token that you're just gonna create, and it's called React App Sanity Token. So for React applications, you just need to mention the React app at the beginning, even as the documentation over here. Okay, React app, as you can see. So I'm just gonna go back here and I'm just gonna import these. Okay, so React app and the Sanity token, that is for the project ID, and then a comma, and after the project ID as in the demo, make sure to have your data set as production, because already in your Sanity panel you're gonna find that your data set is in production mode, like by default. So if it's not, just make it to be public and in production. Okay, afterwards we're just gonna be adding in the API version, and just make sure to either match this version or actually just match one of the static ones they have, because if not, if you don't match the Sanity API version, it's gonna break the application. So I don't want to make this more complicated, but I'm just trying to explain to you everything. So yeah, according to the documentation, just you have to use a UTC date string. See, as you can see. Afterwards, we're going to be using the token, and the token is also going to be a process.env, and then React app, and then the Sanity token. So here, this is going to be the project ID, for the project ID, and this one is going to be Sanity token. Afterwards, you could use the CDN, and we're going to give that true. And that is pretty much it in terms of just connecting the API to the backend. As you can see, even the errors are gone. But I'm just gonna continue on because of the later parts. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this builder const, which is gonna help us later on just get the links for our images. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this, add it over here, and we're using the image builder from the Sanity image URL package. Okay, we also want to export this const, and what else? Why is it giving me the error? Okay, image URL builder is not defined. Maybe I import, yeah. Just make sure to match out the syntax for image URL builder. Okay, so that is pretty much it in terms of how to connect your backend to your front end. So as you can see, the steps that you need to do is just create a .env file, and inside that env file just get your API token from here in the API tab, add a new one, make sure the permissions are editor, copy the token and also the project ID, add them over here, and inside your client.js import these two, the Sanity client and the image URL builder, and just mention inside your client const over here, the Sanity client. Make sure you also export it because you're going to import these later on in the project, and also add in the links for the images, which we're going to be using the image URL builder from the Sanity image URL. And that is it in terms of how to connect your backend to your front end. See you guys in the next video. Yo, it's good YouTube. This is Angry with you, and today we're going to be talking about backend schemas. And what is a backend schema, by the way? If you go into Sanity documentation and you just check out the schema types, these are basically just the type of documents that the editor just may use in the Sanity Studio or the admin panel that we have over here. So to start adding in schema types, all you actually need to do is just mention the schema types into schema.js over here. So it's even telling us over here types here. So in your file, you're not going to just find this comments, but everything else is going to be the same. So the only difference that I just made is that you're just going to add in this file. It's called index.js, and in it just write in this command. So we're just going to export default as about from the About.js file we have in the same folder. Okay, and we're just gonna copy and paste this 4 more times. So you could do Alt Shift and then the downward arrow. So about, and then classes, from classes, and then membership, and one last thing is going to be home. So that file is just done to organize our exports better. So afterwards it's going to be home, and let's start by doing the schema type for home like I did for the video background. So here is the reference and the schema types. Right now it's just giving me
an error. We don't have about, and that is fine because I do not have the sections comments over here. They're just commented out right now, so I'm just gonna fix that, and I'm gonna create the new ones. Okay, so to create a new schema type, all you really need to do is just define that, open up a parentheses, and we're gonna give it two things that are very crucial, which is gonna be first the name, and the name is gonna be your, make sure to add in a column. The name is gonna be your key ID. Afterwards, that is going to be the title, which is going to be the title for the schema type. So this is going to be home, and then the type is going to be document. Okay. Inside that, we could add in something called fields, and inside that fields, we could add an array, and inside that array, we could start adding in objects. So let's think about it for a second. We just have in one link that is over here. So if I want to do that, all I really need to do is just go to the schema types and check out the documentation. So I'm just going to give it a new name, and I'm just going to name it the same name over here, home video. That is the key ID for the video link. And then the title is going to be, again, I'm just matching out my old one because I don't want any errors. Video background, and this is just a title. And one last thing is going to be the type, and that is going to be a link. So afterwards, we're just going to export default and then the home. Okay, so that is the example that I read over here. So if I do save this, okay, and go into my schema.js, let me just comment out the others for now. Okay, and I go into my schema.js and see how I import them. I import them all as one line, so that's why we do the index.js file. So let me just remove that home one. Okay, and as you can see right now, my schema is empty, but if I save that, it's just gonna compile and it's gonna show right now our home section. But it's giving me an error. Okay, so unknown type link, valid types are, okay, it's actually supposed to be URL, not link. So let's just refresh that. And just make sure to match in the types. That's probably the main reason that's giving me errors on the back end. So yeah, as you can see right now, I do have the old one back again, which just gets my video link dynamically over here. Okay, so I'm just going to continue with the other schema types that I have for this project. But if you want to do custom ones on your own for your project, you could then again, like I said, just go into Sanity schema types, check out what schema you want to add for your project, and start adding it as a custom one over here inside your index.js, and just create a file for it. So for membership, I do have basically the same thing, but the only differences is basically I just have some different objects. So let me just copy and paste this again. Okay, thank God. So like it's the same thing, but the only difference is that in the schema types, the fields, I just have an image, I have a number for the price, and I have a title and a description. So if I save that and I just go back into my schema, comment that out, so it's also giving me an error. Type is missing a type. Valid types are home, array, text, and URL. Okay, let's go to membership. So string, image, number, what seems to be the error. Okay, sometimes it does give you errors like this, so that is fine. All you need to do is just restart your server. And let's go also into our about. Okay, the about is going to be the same thing, so let me just Control Z and just get this code as well.
So again, it is the same thing. The only difference is I just have this options parentheses over here that just takes the hotspot. And if you do check out hotspot true, sanity, this basically just crops the image as you like. Like if you just check out hotspot, that basically is just a Boolean value that enables the user interface to responsively adapt images at aspect ratio. So basically, it's just responsible for cropping the image. Again, the same error. That is fine. Okay, so let me just comment out right now the membership, and let me add in the abouts and the classes. Again, the classes is going to be the same thing as membership. So let me remove this. Now, where is the error? Okay, so it's still giving us some errors. That is fine. Invalid undefined type declaration. Okay, we could check out the logs as well. So it's not giving us anything in the logs. Mm. Okay, so we just need to uncomment out the index.js. Alright, so cannot resolve about. Okay, that is the only one that's missing. It's called abouts. Export default as abouts. And here it is. Just had some minor errors we needed to fix. So just give it a moment. Here is our abouts. So if you want to add in a new about, name, description, image, URL, that is going to be a card. Membership is going to be the same thing, but the only difference is it's going to have a price. So name, description, image, and then the price. So you could add in like whatever price you want to add. And inside classes, it is going to be also the same thing. So name, description, image, URL. So let's say we want to add in the price over here. So let's go to classes, just add in another object field. Okay, we don't need this one. We could just add another one. Okay, and what do we need? We just want a price. So we're just going to name it price. And we're also going to give it the title of price. And the type is going to be number, okay? So just give it a moment. I'm going to rebuild the bundle, refresh the section, and as you can see right now, also in our classes we have our prices. So that was our schema types that we're going to be using in our project. We just have home, about, membership, classes. Abouts is going to take the cards for abouts. Membership is going to take the same thing for membership cards. Classes is going to take the same thing for classes cards. And then the home page is just for the dynamic video that's over here if you want to change the link later on. So that is pretty much it in terms of the schemas. I'm just going to show you a preview if you want to copy the code over here, but again, try to do it on your own. So here's the membership. Here's the home. It's just a link. Classes. Here it is, the classes. Let me just remove this comment. And what else? The abouts. So that is pretty much it in terms of the schema types. See you guys in the next video. We're going to be doing the simple GUI to actually display the content from the back end. and the schema types. So see you guys in the next video. This was AnguEDU and peace.
Yo, what's good YouTube? This is AnguEDU, and today I'm going to be showing you guys just how to make this home video background section and also this call to action button. Okay, so when we hover over it, it's going to give us this call to action button. It's going to take us to the membership page, and then the home page again. We have the contact button. It's going to take us to the contact page. This is going to scroll us down to the about section, and this is going to also take us to the membership. Okay, so in case you're on mobile and this hover effect does not show, we're gonna also have this call to action, which does not look bad at all, actually. I think it looks pretty good. So let's get to it, okay? So first off, we're gonna be getting the video dynamically and also the title for this, okay? So we already have this before from the video background component we created. We're just gonna create a new component, call it CTA. So just go into your Gem front end, okay, and then components. Create a new folder, call it CTA. I already have that, so I'm not going to create it all over again. And inside it, just create a new file, call it cta.jsx. Okay, so again, I already have that, so it's not going to be created. And let me just remove everything over here and do rfce. Okay, afterwards, just go into your, here it is. So this is what it's supposed to be showing up for you guys. And afterwards, we're just going to go into our index.js and we're going to export it as well, so we can import it later on in our sections. Okay, I'm gonna go into just my video background and remove everything as well and do rfce. Here it is. So just make sure to go into your sections, and inside your sections also create a new index.js, export them default if you want to, so you could import them later on as well easily. So in the section we're just gonna add in the video background and the call to action components. That's why I mentioned them in the index.js before. Okay. So in the call to action, let's start by the video background, and then we're gonna go to the call to action. Okay, so I have the demo. I'm just gonna keep the demo to the side over here. And it is. Let me just close the folder and the video background over here. Okay. So I just have this demo to just make the time shorter for you guys. Okay, so first off, we're just gonna import these two, which is gonna be the MDB container and MDB REPL from the MDB React UI kit. Afterwards, we're gonna import two React hooks, which is gonna be use effect and use state, which we're gonna be using to basically hold the state variables for our backend, and then using the use effect to display our video background link. Okay, so again, we have a video background over here. And one last thing we're just going to be importing, we're going to also import the CSS, which is video bg.superstarsheets. And here it is. Just make sure you have this file in the same folder. Let me close that up again. And afterwards, we're just going to import the client that we mentioned from 2 videos ago when we're just connecting the backend to the front end. Okay, and that is all the imports we need. Okay, afterwards, we're just going to assign the state variable and the use state hook. So that's going to be video background and set video background. That is going to also take the use state, but we're not going to use the null. We're going to use an empty array like I did before. So here it is. Okay. So that is basically what we're going to be assigning the value we're going to be getting from the back end to this variable. But in order for us to actually do that, we need to actually get the information from the client. So to do that, we're going to be using use effect. and an arrow function. And inside there, if you do check out also the example over here, we're just going to be assigning in a const query, and then this is the syntax, by the way, for the Sanity ROQ queries. So it is like this. This is just an example. Type is equal to home. And by the way, if you don't know where we're getting this from, I'm going to show you. It is actually very simple. So if we go back into our folder structure, the backend, and then the schemas, and we want the query for the home, okay? So let's think about it. I already added previously the schema for the home that already has a field for the home video, but we want two other ones, which is going to take the description and the title. So let's copy and paste this 2 more times, but let me change this to title and change this to Jumbotron title, for example. Type is going to be a string, and the same thing for the description. So name is going to be description, and the title is going to be description. And that is going to be a string as well. Okay, so if we do Control S and we just go into localhost 3033, which where we are hosting our backend, as you can see right now in our home section, in this untitled one, which is basically just the one we want, we're gonna have a Jumbotron title and a description. Okay, we just need one for our video that is going to be over here, okay? But just make sure to not add more than one, because if you do add more than one, it's going to map over that and it's going to show all of these videos. So just make sure it's just one. Okay, so go to video background back again. And this is where you get the query from. This is the type. As you can see, this is the key ID, and it's the type of document. So we're just getting in the query of the type of home. Afterwards, we're just going to be using the client that we imported, and we're going to use the fetch method, okay, and we're going to basically fetch the query. Afterwards, we're just going to do something so we don't forget. This is called an empty dependency array. Okay, so I'm just going to add a comment over here, dependency array, to avoid infinite loop error, okay? So basically, if you do not add this empty dependency array, you're going to get an error, and it's basically going to loop over your application like a lot of times. And let me show you just an example, okay? So afterwards, we're just going to map in dot then we're going to map in the data, okay? And we're going to set the video background to the data, and that is basically for the video background itself, okay? So let's start actually creating the GUI. So the GUI itself is not going to be that hard, but again, I'm just going to keep this to the side. So we're going to start by an MDB container that we imported before, and we're going to give it the class of fluid, the property of fluid, I'm sorry, class name. Let me just check what class names I have over here. Okay, so I just have a shadow 5 strong, a background of info, and a padding Y of 2. So it's just going to give me this blue background over here that we had on the video before. Okay, we're also going to add in the MDB ripple. Okay, and in the MDB ripple is basically just going to give me this effect when I click on it, like it's rippling, like it's kind of watery. So I'm just going to get in again the class names from here. So again, I don't waste your time. So I just give it a width of 100, and let me tell you why, because we're going to be adding a video, so we just want that video to have a width of 100. If I don't add it over here, it's going to make the video just stuck in this area, and I'm going to show you that just in a few seconds. Okay, so afterwards we're going to be starting mapping over the video background over here. Okay, so let me just add a comment over here and mapping over the video BG. Okay, so let's do that. So that is going to be video BG. This is the state variable we mentioned over here, and then the dot map method. Okay, inside there we're gonna basically map over two things. This is the basic syntax, so we're just gonna assign like a small. Let me show you actually the syntax, and you'll get a better understanding. So dot app method JS, and over here you could add in like an empty fragment. For now we're gonna remove that, but this is how you map over items. So if we go over here, the prototype that map, it just takes two parameters. As you can see, it has the element and the index, and also an array. So this is just the simple syntax. So I do have just the element over here and the index. Okay. Afterwards, I'm just gonna assign a div. Okay, and close that div. I'm gonna give it the class name just of width 100, just to make sure everything is at responsive width. I'm gonna give it also the key of the index. Okay, could give it also video plus index to make it unique. And we're gonna add in the video tag, and inside that video tag we're gonna have a source tag like I just did over here. That's a closing tag. Okay, so video and then source. The source is gonna be, I'm gonna show you where we're gonna get the source from, and the type is gonna be just add in the type of the video itself. So you have like a lot of types. You could add video MP4, but I'm gonna add in video WebM. Okay, because that is the format for my video. And the source over here is basically the video element over here. And then if we go into our backend, like I said, we mentioned before the ID. This is the key ID. So let me just copy and paste this 3 more times. These are the IDs for the dynamic objects we're going to be getting from the backend. So let me just copy this name. This is going to be source video dot home video. Here it is. So as you can see right now, we have the video from the backend, but we don't have the styling. So for the styling, we're just gonna add in these styles over here that I just added before. I'm not gonna talk about GUI that much, but these are just some media queries, like simple media queries. Like you could also add in like actual media screen queries, but this is just some simple min and max queries. So we could make this at a maximum and minimum height at like small screens and big screens. Okay, so I'm just gonna give this class name to my video, and also I'm gonna give it these properties that I have, and I'm just gonna explain it to you guys really quickly. Okay, so first off, I have plays inline, which is basically just a property that makes the video play inline. Controls is false because I don't want the controls of the video to be shown. Autoplay is going to be true. Loop is going to be true because we want the video to loop over and just keep playing. One last thing we're going to be adding is going to be loading equals to lazy, which is going to lazy load our videos. So that is gonna make the video so much better in terms of the like the loading time for the screen. Okay, so this is how you do the video. And in terms of the mask, okay, I'm just gonna copy and paste this from the old one. Okay, I'm not gonna waste your time anymore. And let me just close this up. Okay, so that is gonna bring us the static hover effect. And by the way, this is done by this mask, so just make sure to assign this mask and afterwards add in this dflex, which displays everything flex. And then we're just defining the content center, aligning the item center, giving a height of 100, a text height, and we're gonna get the content dynamically over here. Okay, so this is also gonna take the video one, but this is gonna be video.title, and this is gonna be video.description. Okay, the thing is right now, if we do add anything to it right now, it's gonna be empty. Why? Because we do not have anything over here. So let me add in a title. So gym and new offers 2022, and then we're gonna publish that. Okay. Okay, that's gonna take a moment or two, and let me just check out the names that I have over here. So I have the name of title, so video.title, and also video.description. Okay, here it is. So as you can see right now, we're getting the title dynamically. So let's say we want to change this to new offers 2023. We could just go over here and like let's say gym is open, just to show that the title is also updatable, and we can also update the video if you want to. Okay, so just give it a few more moments and it is going to update itself. So while this is updating on its own, okay, it's just going to take a minute or two to actually show the content dynamically. Let me close everything up and let me work on the call to action section. Okay, so again, I don't want to waste your time a lot, so we're just gonna have this call to action, and I'm just gonna import the demo also that I have before. So again, I do not make this very long. I'm just gonna keep the demo on the side over here. I'm just gonna get the imports from here. And that is just gonna be the MDB button, MDB button group, MDB container, and the MDB ripple and MDB row and column system. So let me just import them correctly. Import, here they are. And in terms of the mouse, like animated icon you saw at the beginning of the demo, I just do have a link for it over here. I just have it mentioned on my Cloudinary. This is just a cloud delivery network, so you could add in your images over here. Because I'm not gonna change this, I'm not gonna make this section dynamic. I'm not gonna change this. I just want to show you this savage that I have over here. Here it is. So this is just a animated icon, and if you want this icon, if you want to create your free icons, you could just get it from this. It's called Loaf. So Loaf Savage Icons. You could create your own. Just search mouse, choose one of the free ones, and just create whatever color you want and the sizes and everything. Also the duration. You could do it like very slow, whatever you want, okay? So here it is. I'm gonna also add in the link in the description. Okay, so let me just add in that. So I just assigned a const with the mouse savage icon over here, so don't worry, I'm gonna be explaining, like I said, everything. Okay, so let me just go back to the demo over here and see what I started with. Okay, so I do have the MDB container. So actually, let me show you something. Okay, so again, we're gonna do the same thing we did before, which is basically start our return statement with an MDB container, give it the fluid property. Afterwards, we're gonna do MDB button group, and afterwards, we're gonna add in the MDB ripple because we want our buttons to also have this ripple effect like you see over here. So MDB ripple. Okay, and we could give it the properties that, like on the right, I have over here, ripple color and ripple tag also. So it just knows which ripple tag it's going to. So that's going to be a div. In ripple color, we don't want it to be danger. We could make it, let's actually make it info. Okay. And inside that MDB ripple, we're going to be adding in an MDB row, which is going to take in the grid system. So MDB row. And we're going to have actually three columns that are going to have the size of 4. Okay, so the grid system has the maximum size of 1 column of the maximum of 12. So we could divide that by 3. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to copy and paste this 2 more times. And let me show you just what I mean. So test, and another test. Here it is. But we just need to add in some class names for everything over here, okay? So I'm just going to get the class names that I read before. Again, just to save up time. But it is really easily if you want to change that on your own. So you could just start by the container, give it a class name of background dark, text center, which is going to center everything up, padding Y of 2, which is just going to give it some padding down here, as you can see right now, and one else. Okay, so in the button group, I'm also going to give it a background of dark. So class name, that is going to be BG dark, width of 100, rounded 5, which is basically the maximum of rounded that you could get for MDB like syntax. And we're going to give it a shadow strong of 5. One last thing we need to add in the MDB ripple, we just need to give it the class name of width of 100. So it's starting to look really good. I'm just going to give it the class name of width of 100. Okay. So here it is. And right now we're going to be starting adding in the buttons, okay? So inside each one, we're just going to have an MDB button. Okay, and close that. First one is going to be contact. And you could add in icons if you want to as well. So let me just copy and paste this 2 more times. Okay. So as you can see right now, we're just going to be changing in the href first of all. So just go into your MDB button, give it the href. Actually, let me just close this. Let me just get this class name. And actually, we don't need anything else from this demo. Let me close this. Okay, so I just gave it a margin X of 2, so it's gonna drop a little bit, like you can see over here, and a width of 75 because I don't want it to have a full width. You can if you want to, but I want it to be like this. I don't want it to be like small buttons like this. So I'm just gonna give it the width of 75. I'm gonna give it the color of success, okay? And I'm gonna give it the href of this is gonna be contact, okay, because we want it to take to the contact page. And we're also gonna give it outline, which is gonna make the button in an outline like this. Okay. What else? Okay, so let's continue with the other buttons. So in the second button, we're gonna have just the image, and the source of the image is gonna be the const we assigned before. This is gonna be just a static image. Again, you could do it dynamically like we did in the home page if you want to, but that is gonna add in like so much code that we don't want to. So here it is, and I'm just gonna add in the properties that I have over here. I just have a simple width of 25 pixel and height of 25 pixels, so that is gonna be the same on all screens. Okay. Also, I'm gonna give it the, like in the demo over here, the same colors and everything. So the only difference is I'm giving the href of about because we want it to take us to the section. Okay. So when we click on, we want to take us to the about. And the last button, I'm just gonna copy and paste this from my old demo over here. And I'm gonna just add it into my last column over here, okay? I'm gonna remove this. And we're done. Okay, let me just view, comment palette, and format the document. Alright, so one last thing. Let's actually change the contact section to a color of info. And also let's give it rounded, okay? Make sure to add rounded also as well if you want your button to look rounded like this. So I'm just gonna change the color and add rounded. Just compile that and we're done. So it looks pretty aesthetic to me, honestly. And on our home page, this is what you're gonna see. Alright, so see you guys in the next video where I'm gonna be doing the about section. This was Angry and peace. Yo, it's good YouTube, it's Angry and today I'm gonna be showing you guys the about section in the Gym Full Stack company portfolio that we have over here. So we're gonna be doing three things, basically three components: a brand carousel and swiper.js, a Google Maps, and embedded maps, and about cards. Okay, so that is what we're gonna be doing today. So first off, all I need to do is just go into our backend and then schemas, create a new file, call it brands.js, or call it brand.js for example. And we can use the old schemas we defined before, but I'm gonna show you the one I defined over here. So we could just comment that out and let me code that with you guys, okay? So I'm just gonna keep it over here because I need the previous names. I don't want it to break. So I'm just gonna do a const and I'm gonna call it brand. Open up a parentheses. I'm gonna give it the name of brands, and again, if you guys remember, this is just the key ID. So key ID, and then the title. This is the one that's gonna appear on the admin panel itself. And also type of document. Inside that, we're gonna assign something called fields, like in here. So fields, and inside that fields, we're gonna open up an array.
and inside there we're gonna open up objects, okay? And let's think about it. We just need two things over here. That is gonna be the image, and that's gonna be the title, okay? So I'm just gonna get the old ones I have over here because I want the same names and same everything. But just bear in mind that this is the key ID that we're gonna map over on later on in our front end. And make sure to export it, okay? And that is pretty much it. Let me just open up my terminal and make sure that the backend compiled correctly. And yeah, so if you go into your admin panel, we're gonna find out that at this moment the brand section is gonna be over here. And by the way, the brand section uh, like icon that I'm using is an open source icon like set that I have over here. So I'm just gonna put in the link in the description. But for you guys' information, it is named. I'm just gonna get the name for it. Just a second. Here it is. It's called icondoc.com. So you could just add in your new brands over here, and make sure to add in a couple of ones because we're gonna be doing this like infinite loop swiper, like a brand one. You could also add in your custom brands if you want to. Okay, and just upload a couple of images and brand titles. Again, I mentioned the icon doc over here. Okay, and let me remove actually everything right now from the about brands over here. I already have it in the demo, so I'm gonna open that to the side just to again keep it as a reminder and as well as just to get the imports from here. Okay, so for the about brands, we're actually gonna do something called RNFC or RN. Actually, it's called RF. Okay, actually, we can just do it on our own. So we're just gonna export default and then a function, and that function is gonna be called about brands. Okay, so we don't need to mention an export over here. So this is the components, by the way, that we're gonna be building today: the about cards, the about brands, and about map. So if you check out the project folder structure, you're going to find out that this is mentioned, but these two are not mentioned. So just make sure to create them and do RFCE. So in the about map, also go and do RFCE and go into the about cards, RFCE. Just I'm going to make them empty right now. And also for the about brands, same thing. Okay. So the about brands is supposed to not show anything right now. We're just going to return a empty fragment, and inside it we're just going to add in an h5, and inside it we're going to call it brands. Okay, let's also add in a span. Okay, and inside that span we're just going to give it the class name of text info, so brands. And also this one is going to take the class name of text white. Okay, so we just need to add in the rest of the text inside the span, and here it is. Okay, afterwards just go into your section and just import everything that we have for the about section, which is going to be again the about brands, about map, and about cards, and export everything in the index.js as well in the components like I showed you guys before. Okay, let me close everything up and let me go into the about brands. Okay, so like just in the previous videos, we're just gonna import use state and use effect as well, just for the back end. And again, you could use the same one we did in the home page before. So like in the video background, here it is. If you want to just copy and paste this, okay. But I'm not gonna do that. Again, I'm gonna do it from scratch for you guys. So we're just gonna assign in right now a const that is gonna take the state variable and the state action. Use state and open up brackets, and inside it just an empty array. And here we're just gonna add in the state variable and set brands. So that is gonna be brands and set brands, not cards. So brands, set brands. And also we're gonna do a use effect. So let me just do that from scratch. Use effect. And this is a state hook. So inside it, we're just gonna be adding in the query like we did before. And this is the JRAC query. By the way, if you checked out the previous video, so if you just go into Sanity and just search JRAC queries Sanity, this is the query language they use, okay? So if you want to check out just more examples, you could just check out their documentation. But for now, that is enough. And we're also going to import the client that we mentioned before, okay? So we're going to import the client that is from client.js, which connects the backend to the front end. Okay, and we're gonna do client.fetch and then the query, and then we're gonna map over the data, and then we're gonna set the brands to the data. Okay, so if we actually try and test out this right now, it's supposed to be working. So actually, let's get the information from our backend, but let's map over it first. So to display our information for our backend, we're just gonna do brands.map, and then we're gonna open up an arrow function, and inside it we're gonna add the brand and the index, and we're gonna be starting mapping over the information again. Okay, so brand dot, if you go to our backend and then schemas and then brands, again we just need the brand image, and these are the key IDs, so brand image and brand title. So brand dot brand image and brand dot brand title. That's what I call them. You could just call them title and image if you want to. By the way, this is not gonna work. We need to import something called URL4, which is responsible to get the image URL. This is not gonna work if we do this right now. So we're just gonna define an image tag right now, and we're gonna give it the source of basically the brand. But again, like I said, it's not gonna work. So we need to get the link for the image by using URL4. Okay, so brand dot brand image. Yep. And let's check it out. Okay. So right now we have an error. That is fine. It's just giving us an expected an assignment, and instead saw an expression. Okay, so let's check out where actually this error is. I think that is in terms of the map. We just could add in over here an empty fragment, and yep. So right now, of course, it's messed up because we still did not add in the swiper, but we got the content dynamically. So that is the first step. So if you want to add in the swiper, you could continuing the video, but if you do want to do the GUI on yourself, you could. Uh, so I'm just gonna help you do that. So for the swiper, I'm using something called Swiper.js. Okay, and to add it on Yarn or npm, all you need to do is just yarn add swiper, and make sure you are in your front end folder. Okay, not your back end. So yarn add swiper, and if you are on npm, you can use npm install swiper. It is available for a lot of like frameworks, and there are a lot of demos if you also want to choose like different demos for or a different swiper than the one I'm using for this video. Okay, so I'm just gonna give it a moment and install, and I'm closing this up, and I'm just gonna import everything we need. Okay, I'm gonna get it from the demo just to save up time. So I'm just gonna get the styles and the React components and also the modules. Okay, so this is just for the GUI. Let me put it over here. And if you do check out the swiper.js get started, you're gonna find out that actually this is the best way, or this is actually the way that's on the documentation to use the swiper styles. Okay, and I am importing them here only because I want them only in the about brand. I don't want them to be used throughout the project. So we're just gonna restart the project using yarn start. And I'm gonna keep the demo to the side, okay, because I just wanna keep it to remind myself just as hints. I don't actually need it, but let me just keep it also as well, just for saving up your time. Okay. So in terms of the GUI, we could start by doing an MDB row. And why is that? Because basically in our about section, we're gonna be using a grid system. So we could just add in everything over here. Just a moment. Let me get this H5 over here. And again, put the brands.map in a row. And also, we're going to put it into an MDB column. And we don't need to define the size for this. We could define the size 12 because basically we just wanted to take the like the whole width of the screen. Okay. So like I did in the demo before, I just did the column size of size 12. We could do the same thing. It's just gonna give us an error right now because we did not import everything from MDB React UI kit. So just the row, MDB, and then row. Okay, and that error is gonna be gone right now in a second. And here it is. Right now, we're gonna be defining the swiper. And let's think about it for a second. We do not want to map over the swiper itself. We just want to map over the swiper slides. So that is what we're going to be doing. We're just going to be putting in the slider outside the mapping, and we're going to put the swiper slide inside the mapping, okay? Because we just want to map over the slide, okay? So keep the swiper outside the map. And then we're going to put in over here swiper slide. Let's also add in the image over here and the title. And let's give it the key of brand plus index. One last thing just to avoid any errors, let's remove this empty fragment. And that is pretty much it. So that is pretty much it in terms of the basic swiper. So right now we do not have any styling added or anything. Like you can see, the images are not styled or anything. They're all like there's an image that's in different width and height. So we just need to style in the images right now that are in the brand carousel and also give the modules for the brand carousel. So let's actually get them from the demo again to save time. So let's add to the swiper itself, not the swiper slide, okay? The swiper itself. Let me just format the document. Okay, and in the swiper itself, we're first off going to give it the property of slides per view, and that is going to be 3, which is going to show us 3 slides per view. So let me just save that and show you. As you can see right now, it's giving us 3 slides per view. We can also give it a space between. This is going to be 30. Slides per group. That is going to be equal to 3. And we're going to loop over them because basically we want them to be an infinite loop. And we're going to be auto playing. But again, for this to work, you need to have the modules imported. That's why we imported them earlier on. So we're just going to put the models over here. And let's autoplay. Let's continue to autoplay, okay? So autoplay. And delay is just 10 milliseconds. So I'm just going to give it the same delay over here, which is 1.5 seconds. And disable on interaction. This is going to be false because we don't want the loop to be disabled when user clicks on it. So this is also, you could add in this property of a Boolean value. And let me just copy in this class name, okay? So what else? We just need to add in the pagination and navigation, and also this loop fill group with blank. As per the documentation, I'm also gonna add in the references like I have over here. Okay, this is from the demos of Swiper.js. I'm also gonna copy in the properties for the image because again, I don't want to take more time than this. And that is pretty much it in terms of the slider. So you could just basically add in these class names and you'll get these same styles if you want to. But again, this is not the purpose of this tutorial. But here they are. Again, I'm going to explain them quickly. So I'm just giving them explicit height and width, a class name of rounded 5, just some shadows, and a background info. And let me get actually everything in the demo that I did before. So it is the same thing, but let me remove the references. Okay. The only difference is that I just give it some padding Y over here. So if you want to have that as well, just make sure to add in that padding Y. So we're done with the branch carousel. We could right now go into the Google Maps. And this is actually a really easy part. All you actually need to do is just go into your About map over here. And again, like I said, just do an RFCE and export it to your index.js and again import it into the About section. Just make sure it's displaying. And afterwards, just to get the Google Maps, the embedded Google Map, just go to Google Maps. And make sure you're logged in. That's actually all you really need to do. and search wherever location you want. Let's uh, I think I should be blurring this out. Anyways, let me just get any location for now. So if I get this location, for example, oh my god, no, let's get a location in the city, like anywhere. Uh, yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's just get this location for now, okay? So let's say we wanna get this embedded map from Google. All we actually need to do is just pick the location. So just pick wherever location you want, and then you see share, and then embed a map. You're just gonna copy the HTML and go into your about map and basically paste everything. But the only difference is in React you need to give it the style of border of 0. So in React you just need to give it the style property like this. So border of 0. And let me just save that. Again, that is just how you get that Google Maps. And as you can see, this is not even like the same one in the demo. And what this is basically just an embedded iframe, and it's getting the source from the Google Maps. And we're just giving it some width and height of 450 pixels and 600 pixels. So we could change that and give it a width of 100% and actually give it a height. Let me just check out what I did in the demo also, just again to save time. Because usually we just need a little bit of thinking time to uh, like get all these styles together. So I'm just gonna get them from here. It is also getting the lazy loading, so just make sure to add that as well. Allow full screen. Uh, uh, okay, so we could add in class name right now, and also we could add in some more styles. So I gave it a border radius of 28 pixels, so we could just do that. A border and then radius of 28 pixels. So we're gonna find out this rounded right now, but it's too rounded, so I'm gonna make it 18 actually. Let me keep the demo to the side over here and close this as well for now. What else? Let me just check out. We also need to give it a title because that's just gonna give us an error in the console if we don't do that, like a warning. So we could just give it a title of any string you choose, like Google Maps. What else? We're gonna give it a class name also, and the styles that I chose before. I think I just gave it some shadowing. Yeah, just some shadow and padding. So we're just gonna use shadow 5 strong. This is MDB again, if you don't know that, and padding Y of 2. Okay, so we're just gonna make it a little bit more closed, as you can see if I like remove that padding Y. So yeah, and that is pretty much it in terms of the about map. We actually are not gonna do anything else, and even if I copy the demo over here in the about map, it's basically the same thing. The only difference is that I just have this H6 that says locate us, and also I'm just giving the div a width of 100 and a padding of Y of 3 just to give it a little bit more spacing, as you can see. Uh, 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 and also I got this like border 0 from like people who had the same issue on Stack Overflow. So that is the Google Maps section. We're done with this section. So let's actually just remove this demos. We don't need them anymore. So we have one last thing to do, and that is going to be the about cards. Okay, I don't want to waste your time also as well. So basically, we're just doing the same thing we did in the like the brands one. Okay, so like in terms of connecting the back end to the front end, again, we're doing the same thing. We're just assigning in a state variable, and that is going to be cards and set cards. Again, use state, and same thing in empty array, but we just need to import those. Use state, use effect, and then we're gonna use effect again, same thing, arrow function, and we're just gonna map over the query, and that is gonna be a type of abouts because that is the old one we mentioned in our schemas. So we have abouts and brands, and here they are if you haven't checked out the schema type videos. Again, I have a video, it's called schema types, that mentions all of the schema types except the brands one. Okay. And afterwards, again, we're gonna be importing the client, import client, and also the URL for from client, because we're gonna get the images for the about cards. And again, in terms of the about cards, if I go over here just 1 second, the 3D assets I'm using over here, let me just show you the demo later on, but these images I got from Iconic Design, so these are free to use. They have an MIT license if you want to check them out. It's free open source, by the way, if you guys want to use this. Okay, so let me just refresh this and continue in the about cards. Okay, so again, we're gonna do client.fetch, and that's gonna be the query, and dot then map over the data, same thing, set card as the data. So if I just go over here and I start again mapping over the cards, so cards, nope, cards dot map, and that is going to be the card and the index. And, and let's open up an empty fragment for now. We're going to remove that, but I just want to show you that we got everything from the back end. So card, and then let's go to our abouts. So card.title, card.description, and card.image. So card.title, and another one, card.description. And in terms of the image, again, we're using URL4 to handle our source because we're getting a URL link. So URL4, and that is going to be card.brand image, or actually no, that is going to be a about image. Again, you could define these names whatever you want. You could just name it image. So let me refresh this and check out what is going on right now, okay? So there is something wrong. Okay, let me check out the demo. So we're getting the type of abouts, we're fetching over the query, we're mapping over the cards. let's try and do that another again. Okay, let's actually remove these. And let's just add in an MDB container for now. MDB container. And let's import actually everything also. So MDB container. And let's add in this over here. And then the image. Okay. So there's something that I'm doing wrong. So let me just copy demo. Okay, I think we just forgot to mention the empty dependency array. And that is very crucial, by the way, guys. Try not to remember to not forget the empty dependency array, or you get an infinite loop in your project. So you don't want that. Okay, so why isn't it getting the data? So we're fetching the query and then the data, mapping over the cards, then the data. Okay, maybe I just need to, let me just copy in the GUI. Okay. And also let me copy in the imports over here. Okay, so there seems to be an issue right now with my like the new code that I read. Okay, I think I understand now. Just one more second. Okay, that's weird. It's really, really weird. Because basically I'm just writing the same thing. Anyways, we're just doing the same thing we did in the like the brand carousel, but the only difference is we're just adding in the MDB card over here, and I'm just giving it some styling, which is gonna be making them like explicit to this heights and width. I'm also just adding in some text for the cards themselves. Again, for the image, I'm using URL4. But the original code that I just read with you guys right now, like for some reason was lagging or some kind, I don't know, it was not showing the information. But here is the demo code that I read before. That's why I read the demo code, by the way, guys, because if any like issues happen throughout when I'm recording the video, so I just give you a like a finished version of the code over here that works as well. Because if you want to follow along, I don't want you to be using code that does not work. So here it is. And that is it in terms basically of the about section. There's not anything else we're going to be doing in the about section. Again, here's the GUI if you want to do the same GUI I used over here. And I'm going to add in the references for everything in the description. You can guys watch out for the final videos for this tutorial. I'm going to just do a contact form in the next video. Afterwards, we're going to be adding in membership and classes are going to be the same thing. So I'm just going to do one video for both of them, which is going to be with the Stripe payments. And finally, we're just going to be adding in a footer and deploying the project. Okay. So see you guys in the next video. This was AngryEDU and peace.
Yo, with YouTube. This is gonna be the member cards section and page as well. So I have a demo over here that I've done before. So all these cards that I'm gonna be doing is basically just displaying the subscription cards that are showing over here. So we're just gonna be displaying the content dynamically with the MDB cards, and this button is gonna take us to the contact page. Okay,
And by the way, don't worry about the footer. I'm gonna add in a section for the footer at the end of the video. So let's get to it, okay? So I'm just gonna go into membership cards and do RFCE. Okay, I'm gonna keep this to the side. Okay. And right now I'm gonna be starting like you guys. So I'm just gonna keep in the demo over here. Again, to just save up time. And let me close this. Okay. So if you do remember in the previous videos, we're not gonna do anything really new here. We could just get the about a cards query or the about brands query. So we could just get the same query over here and just change it. So let's go over here. And instead of cards, we could do membership cards and set membership cards. In terms of the query, we're just going to change the type to membership. And again, if you want to check out your, you also need to import these guys. So if this is going to be the use state and use effect hooks. So use state and use effect. Use effect. Okay, and also the client, the Sanity client. So we're just going to import the client. What else? We're just going to change the set cards to set membership cards. So yeah, right now it's not displaying anything because basically we're not just passing in any properties. So we're just gonna import one last thing that's gonna be the URL for. Again, this just changes the image uh, object to a URL link that we could use. So basically, like here it is, like an image URL builder. It just builds up a link for your image. Okay. So in terms of the GUI itself, so we could just display them for now. So I'm just gonna display them, but basically mapping over them, if you do remember mapping. So we're just gonna do the map again and membership card, as well as the index. Afterwards, we could just render a div for now. And there's something that I'm doing that is incorrect right now. So let me just double check the syntax. Okay. So we're turning the div and just membership cards map over the membership card, and then index. Okay. So let's return a div, an empty div. And inside that div, we could start adding in the properties. So let's give it the key of membership card and plus the index to make it unique. And in the previous videos, there's one section that I did in empty fragments. You don't do that just because it will just give you an error over here that you don't have a unique key while you actually do. So just remember to remove that. That was in the first section we did, which is the about cards. Okay. So let me just continue and let's get the, actually we don't need to get the GUI code right now. Let me continue. So I'll do the GUI at the end. So we could just pass over the properties right now because we're mapping over them. So we could get the membership card title. So it's supposed to display that right now. Let me just refresh that. Okay. So maybe we just need to continue. So let me just continue that. Or membership card at that. Okay, so if we go into the back end and then the schemas membership, we could get the key IDs over here. So here they are. So we could just copy and paste this a couple more times. And dot description. and membership card also dot image, but this we're basically gonna use the URL for. So we're just gonna get this and actually add it into an image tag for now. Give it the source of the URL for, and then the property. What else? Okay, membership card dot price. Okay. So right now we could just start actually showing up the GUI. It's not showing anything because I think the footer is just hiding everything. But actually, let me also check the developer tools, okay? Okay. So why is it not showing any content? Okay, let me just check out the query membership, and that is membership as well. Maybe we just need to restart the server, so yarn start. Mm, I'm just checking out the demo if I did ever like anything different. Go back to the membership. Okay. Okay, right now it's not displaying anything. That's a little bit weird. So actually, let's just continue. So as you can see, like I did this before, but it is just a little bit weird. So I'm just gonna copy this old one and let me just put that over here. And let's check out actually if it displays anything. I think it's just in terms of the GUI. So let's actually start by just displaying the GUI. Maybe the footer is just over it right now. Could do an inspect and just check out if it's there. So we have the H2. I'm just making sure if the information is passed from the membership card. Okay, let's get this. Okay, I understand why right now it's not displaying the content. So this is not supposed to be a parenthesis. This is supposed to be a bracket. Let's do that, and here they are. So that is the error that I did before. So that is why it was not showing up. So again, you could do an inspect and just check out the info if it's passed or not. And by the way, the assets that I'm using is from Iconic Design, not like sponsored by any of them by them or anything, but they are an open source. So if you just go into Iconic Design and then 3D assets, you could find in the assets that I use today for the membership cards. Okay. So here they are. And just go to Iconic Design and just 3D assets, sign up, and then download whatever 3D assets that they have for free. And most of them have like MIT license, so you could use like a lot of assets from here. Uh, so let me put that to the side again, and let me start by building up the GUI for you guys, okay? You could use the same GUI we used in the About card, which is actually basically the same thing, but I'm just gonna add in more styles to it, okay? So let me just keep the demo over here and let's get to it, okay? So what I did before is just I added in again just a MDB container to wrap everything up, and I'm just gonna get the imports from here, guys, okay? So you could just uh, follow along with the imports over here. Here they are. And let's start. So
I do remember doing an MDB container and being it float, of course, so it'd be responsive on all screens. Let's put this here. Okay, what else? I did an MDB row. Let's put this actually to the side over here. MDB row. And inside that MDB row, I actually did, I do remember doing the MDB column inside. So we're actually going to do that. So we're just going to add an MDB column inside because we want to map over the column, not over the like row. And we're going to give it a size of 4, okay? So I'm just going to put that over here. And here it is. But let me just give it the size of 4. Okay, so if we go right now, as you can see, it's going up like 3 sections. We want that to be actually 4 sections, so I'm going to make that size to be 3, not 4, okay? So here it is. Of course, right now it's still not finished at all, but we're going to be styling that still continuing, okay? So in that MDB column, we're going to add in an MDB card, and we're actually going to give that card a background of dark, so a class name of BG dark. Okay, and let's add in the properties over here. Okay, so let's first off by doing the MDB card image. And since that we got the properties already, we could just get the source from here. And we could give it the alt also of the membership card title. And one last thing also, see this question mark that I'm just going to add right now? This is basically going to help you if like any of the properties have any issues. It's not going to break your website, so just make sure if you're passing properties to pass this question mark. Okay, so we did the image. Let's do the title actually. Yeah, the subtitle. So we could add in a subtitle. And we can also add in a MDB card footer, okay? So MDB card footer. And that is where we're going to add in the description. But we don't want the description to be like this. We want it to be like just a preview of the description and then like the whole text when we hover over it. So there is actually a fix for this in the GUI called MDB info tooltip, I think. Let me just, yeah, tooltip. So MDB React info tooltip. So let me just show you a quick example. So here it is. So what I did before is that basically I got the MDB, like the card description, but I also did something called dot slice, as I do recall. It's a method, and this method accepts two parameters over here. We could add in 0 and like 10. Okay, and also let's add in just a couple of dots. So let me show you what that is going to do. Okay, so if you go back here, right now we're not going to see any text, but if I just okay, there's something that I'm doing that is incorrect. So let me just go back to the demo and check out the slice method that I used. Okay, it's a little bit weird. I'm basically just doing the same thing. So let me just add in this actually to just a paragraph. Okay, and let's make this 15. One last thing. Okay, so we need just to add this outside the method, not inside the method. That is what is making it not show up. Here it is.
So I'm gonna slice over the description because we just want to show a preview of it, and then we want to show the whole description in the tooltip, okay? So if I just get that tooltip over here, okay, we could just add in the tooltip afterwards over here. Inside there, we're gonna add in actually the description we just did, and inside that title, we're gonna add in the same thing, but we're gonna remove that slice method because that is where it's gonna take the actual information of the description. So if I go back to Jim's gym, here they are, and we got the information showing up. So again, I'm not gonna waste your time, so I'm just gonna go into the demo and we're gonna get the styling that I did before. So you could do this. You could do this like showing up the cards like on all screens to have the size of 4, but that's not what I did. If I go into the demo, we're gonna find out that I have this properties over here, and what they are, if I go over them really quickly. Okay, let me just go over here and let me remove this size 3, okay? Right now, as you can see on X small devices, it has the column size of 12, so it takes up the whole screen. On small screens, on medium screens, it's 3, so we have that 4 section. On large screens, it's the same thing, and X large is the same thing. But again, if we go to small, so small devices, we have it on 6, and X small, we have it on 12. Okay, so that is basically what I did in terms of just the queries or breakpoints and MDB Bootstrap. Okay, I also added in a link for the slug. You don't have to do this because we're not gonna actually be using this, but you can add a slug. So let me just show you an example. So if I just go into uh, the card over here, and let me just uh, okay, not here. Don't save. Okay, here. So let me just do that one more time. Apologize for this. And we just need to import that. I just want to show you what the slug actually does. Okay, that's all a bit weird. MDB module build. What? Okay, so I think I already have that. MDB card link is not defined in about cards. Okay, so I think I did something wrong in the about cards. Okay. Yeah, here it is. So when I press on this slug, you're gonna find out that it takes you to another page with the object like passed over here in the URL. So you could pass in the object itself, and you could pass in like a page for the slug. So you could actually show a single page for each uh, card, but I'm not gonna do that over here. I'm just gonna add in a link for contact the gym itself to actually do these membership cards, okay? Because I don't want to make the project over complex for you. Okay, so again, let me just go into the demo and let me close this. And let me also get the styles. So again, I'm just adding in a maximum height for the styles. Give it just some shadow and a background dark and just a width of 100 and height of 100. Also, I added in the ripple. That's what I forgot. Okay, that's I didn't mention that. So we could just add in the ripple and add in all the uh, content for the card itself over here. We could also add in a mask, which I did before. So actually, let me just, yeah. So basically, I did the same thing, but I just added in some styling. Okay, so I'm not gonna go over that a lot because again, this is just some GUI, so you could do your own. But here it is if you want to do the same thing. Okay. Again, we're just passing over the properties like we did in the previous video. We're adding the tooltip for the description. And finally, we're just adding in a button that's going to take us to the contact page. Okay. So that is it in terms of the membership cards, by the way, you guys. So there's not anything else actually we're just going to be doing here. Comment down below and see you guys actually in the next section. We're going to be doing the contact form, and we're also going to be doing the classes form. And the classes is going to be basically the same thing as membership. So if you want to do the same thing over here just in classes, that is okay if you don't want to continue on watching. But the only last thing that I'm going to be doing is the contact form. We're going to be using email.js, okay? So see you guys in the next video. You YouTube doing a video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a really simple method to implement some products links, basically payment links with Stripe. Instead of like implementing a full-on e-commerce to your website, let me show you an example. So if I just go into my localhost 3000 and go into membership over here, I want to do like a subscription model for my customers. So if I click on any of these links right now, it's going to take me to just a link for the checkout. So that is fine. So we could do that. So that is what I'm going to do for the membership cards and also the about cards. Instead of just implementing a full-on like e-commerce section, this is so much easier and it's just what the user needs. Okay, so we're also going to add in like a button over here just for like the contact page in case the customer wants to contact us. So to do that, all you actually really need to do is just go into Stripe, okay, and just sign up to Stripe, and just search something called Stripe payment link, okay? So let me just, and this is basically what it looks like on the back end. So what I'm gonna do is basically just get in the link over here. So you're basically gonna, after signing up, you're gonna go into your dashboard. Let me close everything up and actually do that from, yeah, let's get to it. So you're just gonna go into your home after signing up and then go into products. Basically, you're just gonna create your product because since that we're in like a gym subscription, like in my project, I'm not really actually implementing an e-commerce section because that is not necessary for just like 4 cards and like 4 or 3 classes. So basically gonna have like 7 products or 8 products. So we could just create individual links for each of them and just add them in Sanity. So that is an option we could implement Stripe with, if you didn't know that. So basically you're just gonna create a product over here. So you could name it membership cards like I did before. Membership cards. Then upload an image for just to show the user when they go to the page. So that is going to be the same image for all links, but that is fine. Okay, let's go back over here. Choose the standard pricing, choose whatever currency you want, and then add in like $100. For my project, I have like 125, 70, and 80, and 200. So I'm just going to do like a simple kind of method over here. So you could just add in another price, and then you could choose a one-time payment, like for the monthly payment. Okay, and you could choose a recurring payment if you want to for all the products, okay? So you could add in 4 prices, like I did over here, and just choose US dollar. Okay, I'm not gonna add this product right now because I already have one, but like I said, you could just add in prices like I did over here and just add in some description. So afterwards, you're just gonna create a payment link over here. I left this one blank because basically it's gonna give you a link over here. You could just add into your uh, like basically you could add into your uh, product. So that is what we're gonna be doing basically. So if I go over here, you're gonna find out that right now we're on the classes one. So here it is. And we could also remove this text, okay? So we're just gonna match each card price to this link over here instead of implementing a full-on e-commerce solution, because that is basically gonna make our life so much like it's not necessary for this project, like unless we're building like a merchandise product. So if you guys want that in the project, just let me know and I'll figure out a way like by Redux or something. Uh, but for now, let's continue from here. Okay, so afterwards, just go into your backend, and all I'm actually just gonna add into our old schema that I did before is that I'm just gonna add in a link over here. Okay, and in the membership cards section, if you already did that, so I'm just gonna map over our links. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over here, and instead of the href that I have over here, I'm just gonna membership card dot, and in the back end I mentioned it as stripe link. So I could just take that, put it here. Okay. So let's check out what links right now we have in the Sanity backend. So again, since that we do not have that many products, you do not really need to connect Sanity to it, but we're just going to be connecting the payment links to them. So we're just going to go to membership. I'm go to annual, for example, or actually this one, I'm sorry, classes one. Okay, and I'm just going to copy the link, add it over here, publish and update. So we could then go again, membership annual, and go to products again. We could just copy uh, the link from each one over here. You're gonna see the view payment link. So which one we wanna, the annual one. So you're just gonna create a payment link, and here it is. So create a link, and then you could just copy the link, add it over here, and publish. So this is like a catalog subscription system, like you could call it that, because basically in case like you want to change any of these, you could just uh, basically just change the link over here, or you could integrate it later on with like migrating to something like Next.js or something like that, but I don't want to talk more about this. Let's actually just check out the product links over here and let's check out if they work. So let's go. This one is the, let's just give it a moment or two to actually update the links. Okay, so actually got it correctly. So we got the $100 one and the $25 one and also the $80 one. And then the, okay, this one does not have a link, so we could just add a link for it. So, yep, just copy it and go back to your local host 333. This is the back end that we set up before. So it matched the prices, as you can see right now. We just need to add in one last link. So I'm gonna go into membership, and where is it? Classes, and I just got the link for it over here. I just messed up the currency, but that's fine. Again, just make sure to match the currency in all of them. Okay. So maybe just needed a moment or two to update it. Yeah. And we can also give it the target of blank. So target, yep, of blank. So when the customer like presses on it, we don't want the customer to go out of the gym or the website that you have installed. So yeah. So that is the last thing we're gonna add just to the MDB button or to your link, just the target of blank. And that is pretty much it, you guys. So thank you for watching the video. And basically, this is going to be the same thing in classes. I'm just going to record this and add the footer, and I'm just going to compile these videos for you guys. Okay. So see you guys in the next video. This was Angle EDU, and peace.
Yo, it's good YouTube. This is gonna be a short video. It's gonna be talking about the classes cards over here and the classes page. So the classes page is gonna be basically the same thing as the membership page. So we're basically gonna be using the payment links, okay, and also the uh the cards and everything. So all you really need to do is just go into your membership cards and just copy and paste everything. But just instead of using membership card, change that to classes card. So that is what I basically did. So I just changed the type to classes because from our old schema over here. So classes. The only thing I didn't add right now is the stripe link, so we could add that together. So I could just go into our membership and get that object and just add it to classes. And then I'm just going to format the document over here. And literally it is the same thing, so I'm not going to waste your time. And then we're going to go to the Stripe payments and just assign the classes. And then just get the links and add them over here for payment of subscription itself. So that is pretty much it in terms of the classes section. If you watch the membership section, this is the same thing. So if you just go into the membership section, you're going to find that it's basically just the same thing. Okay, so in the next section, we're going to be talking about the contact section. Okay, and we're going to be talking about also the footer later on. Okay, so see you guys in the next section. Yo, what's good YouTube? This is going to be the contact section. Let me show you a demo what we're going to be doing today really quickly. Okay, so let me just go into my local host, have that already started up. And we're basically going to be using a package called email.js. So to install that, just do yarn add at email.js / browser. Okay, so let me just do that. And here it is just to double check the syntax that I already installed before. And let me also afterwards just start the server. Okay, so basically while this is installing, you could just go into email.js, sign up, do all that, and then basically we're gonna be starting creating the IDs we need for the project. Okay, so let me just sign in. Okay, and I have right now an email service by Outlook, but you could add in whatever email service you want. So to add that, all you need to do is just go like Outlook, keep the service ID as it is, add your user email,
like whatever email you're gonna be using for this account, and also you could use the same email you want to be sent to the service ID you're gonna be using. And just to create a service ID, you're gonna find out that on email.js it just gives you a link for whatever service you're using. So if you're using Outlook, it's gonna give you a tutorial how to create one. Okay, so I'm not gonna do that with you because I don't want to expose my email like information, but basically this is gonna give you just like a simple tutorial how to create this. But I'm gonna show you a demo also. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's gonna basically just expose all my information, so I don't want to do that. But again, it's gonna give you for whatever email service just a small tutorial. You're just gonna follow it, and basically you're just gonna get the app password and add it over here. Okay, so then you're gonna find out this. You're just gonna get the service ID from here. So I already have that before, so I'm not gonna get that. But afterwards, I have the email template, and the email template, just to create one, you're gonna create a new one. Again, add in the email you want. This is just a demo email. Okay, my real one is in the old one that I made, but I'm just gonna show you one. So just make sure to add in the email you want here. Add from name here, and also let me show you the template that I made. Okay, so over here we could just get a new message from name and also get a new message from email. Okay, because we want to like reply to the customer afterwards. So that's basically what we're going to be using. Okay, so we could save that, and template has been added successfully. You're just going to get the template ID from here, the new one or whatever one you want. So this is my old one. I'm just going to keep the old one. I'm just going to delete this one. And one last thing, you're just gonna go to personal settings, actually account, I'm sorry, and then you're gonna get your public key, okay? Your public key, not your private key, your public key. So we're just gonna get that as well. Like I said, these three keys are gonna be added over here, okay? So this is just the demo, and basically what we're doing for the demo uh, of what we're gonna be doing coding right now, I'm gonna be starting coding in just 10 seconds more. I'm sorry for explaining a lot, but this is just needed to actually use this API by email.js. Okay, so we're just gonna create a async function, and you could create just a normal function or a arrow function to do this. And we're gonna add in a container and just a form like the example over here, the React example. And we just need to add in the ref over here, which is going to be used by the useRef hook, and the useRef hook is going to be responsible for the properties of name over here and passing it as a mutable object. So that is basically what a useRef does. It's like a box, so for a mutable object in JavaScript. So even if we search, just 1 second, if we go into what's it called? Uh, 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 yep, useRef hook, JavaScript, and the hooks API reference, okay? So if we go into use ref, basically you're gonna find out that this is just returns a mutable object of ref. Its current property is passed to the argument. This is basically what I just explained, this property over here. And the object persists for the full lifetime of the component. Even you could find like it's like a box that can hold a mutable value in this current property. So this is like what essentially it is, okay? Okay. So let's remove the code that's over here, and let's start actually coding this. Okay, so we're just gonna do our FCE in our contact form component, and make sure just to import this component, okay, into your contact page. Okay, just go into your contact page, and in that contact page, just make sure to import your contact form, like I did over here. Okay, you don't need this, but That is pretty much it. We're just gonna import the contact form over here, and we're also gonna import the useref. Okay, let me start the server, and we're also gonna import the MDB GUI. So here it is. I'm just gonna copy and paste those, but we could import also, as you can see over here, like in the demo, email.js from the package name, which is email.js browser /browser. Okay, we're gonna first assign a const that is gonna be form. Okay, and that is gonna be using the useref hook. Okay, afterwards we're gonna be assigning in a async function. So const send email, or let's send customer question, for example, just to make it really simple. And that is going to be an async function that's going to take a parameter of e, and let's close that. Okay, what did I just do? Okay, here it is, and that is an async function. So we're then going to use something called the prevent default, and that is a method that basically is just uh, basically says if the dispatched action, if it's not handled by the server, or like by email.js API, this is gonna make this not clickable. So it's just like, so here it is, like, so if invoked when the cancelable attribute is true and while existing a listener for the event with passive set to false, this signals to the operation that caused the event to be dispatched that it needs to be canceled. So basically it just cancels this whole async function. Okay, in case it doesn't work. So basically why we passed it. Okay. Okay, we're also gonna be using the email.js. Let's set it up right now. Dot send form, and we're gonna need three things basically. That is gonna be form.current and these two strings I just mentioned, and just another string over here. Okay, and let me just get my old comment from the demo over here. These are the three things I mentioned, the API keys we needed, that I told you we needed at the beginning of the tutorial. So that is why I told you just to copy and paste those. So if you did that before, that is fine. You can just continue. If you have not, just make sure to go back and just get those. And like I said, I already have them over here. So I'm just gonna get them from over here, okay? We also need to pass in something called .then, and we're gonna map over the result, okay? And afterward, we're gonna display. We're actually not gonna display it. We're just gonna be console.log the result if it works or not. So console.log the result. What's it called? Results, just the result, and text. Okay. Again, let's go to the documentation over here if we get sidetracked or anything. Okay. So this is where we pass in the .then. We already passed that actually. And what we need to do right now is actually pass in just if there is an error, okay? So let's do that. All right, error. And then we're gonna map over it again and console.log the error .text. Okay. So that is pretty much it for the async function in terms of just setting up the email.js. What we need to do right now is just something else that I added. So basically, if the result, and bear with me, is just result.text is equal to the OK, which is basically this console.log. So if this result.text is equal to OK, we wanna alert the user the result dot text plus we could add an empty string in over here and then add in another message, or actually no, that's gonna bring us a string concatenation, so we don't need that. So just one string, so result dot text plus uh, uh, your message has been sent successfully to OZGym 2022. Not, we don't need that 2022. Okay, we will reply in 3 days, for example. All right, and else, so if that does not work, we could just alert, sorry, your message didn't go to, try contacting us directly. Please try contact us. All right, so else we're just gonna alert the user that that did not work. Okay, so let me just go into the context form right now. We don't have anything in the GUI right now. So actually, I'm not gonna waste your time by doing the GUI, but I'm gonna explain what I did in the GUI, by the way, okay? So let me just get the normal form actually over here. Let's start by a normal form over here. So basically, we're just gonna do the same example that we did over here. Form, that's gonna take the ref of form, and on submit, that is gonna be equal to send the customer question. We're gonna add in a label, just a normal form, label of name, label of email as well. You could just copy and paste those. I could just copy and paste my old form over here, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna continue with you guys. Here it is, another input, and we're gonna give it the name of, remember the template, email template that we created before. So basically, you see this from name. This is what we want. This is the property we want to pass in. Okay, so from name, this is for basically the name, and we're gonna give it the placeholder to enter name here. Okay, and let's actually use the MDB input. So we just are gonna use that instead of the normal input. That's what I used. We're also gonna use in an MDB container. Okay, and we're gonna give it the just the class, the property of responsive, or actually fluid, which makes it responsive. Okay, so name from name, placeholder equal, enter name here. Type is gonna be equal to text. So type is gonna be equal to text. And one last thing, we're gonna add in required. Let's actually copy and paste this over here and just change from name to from email and enter email here. One last thing, we're just gonna add in the message. Okay, so I have the message, and inside that message label, we're just gonna add in not another input, we're gonna use something called a text area, okay? So that text area is gonna take something called a ta, and that is just basically a JavaScript property that we could add in CSS styles. Where, by the way, this is not like recommended at all to use these tile like JavaScript over here, because it's just gonna make your like project have a lot of more properties over here. Like it's gonna be crazy. So you could use just a CSS file for that. But since that we just need one literal change, we're gonna do that, and it's gonna be resize of none. Okay, and that is gonna basically if we go into the localhost 3000, let me just save that. Okay, so here it is. We have a really simple one for now. If we just remove this resize one, we're gonna find out that the text message is gonna have this like really annoying resize one. So I don't think users want that. So I'm just gonna change that, and we'll just refresh the page. And here it is. It's not resizable, so we could just add in the message over here. What else I'm just gonna add an h1 over here, and I'm gonna give it the class name of text dark, and I'm gonna add in here contact, and then I'm gonna open up a span. What the hell is this? Just a span, and I'm gonna give it the class name of a text of info, and I'm just gonna fix the syntax over here. Okay, I just need to add in here us, so contact us. We're also gonna finish the form, guys. We're just gonna add in a button, okay? So I'm just gonna add in an MDB button. And why are we adding this? Just to pass in the form basically, and all actually the like this async function word is just gonna basically used over here. So on click, send the customer question. Okay. What else? We could give it, I don't want to add rounded over here, but I just use the color of info, and let's add in message or message us. Okay, here it is. We could just also get the jumbotron that we have over here. I'm not gonna waste your time by doing this. This is honestly, like, there's an example on MDB React just to how to do it. Okay, so here it is. So basically, it's just telling you that just we need to like assign this div over here, and we're giving it the like this background just to work with the MDB like styling system. So we could just return that between the container and the contact form. I'm just gonna copy and paste this because this is gonna waste your time. Basically, you could do this on your own because the code over here is just like here it is. This is just some GUI, so I don't really think that it's like necessary to do all of this. But we could like I just copied this area over here and I just changed a little bit in it, okay? So I have right now this simple jumbotron over here. And let's give it also just a padding Y of 5. Okay. I actually need to do one last thing. I just need to add in a class name over here of padding Y of 5. Yeah, here it is. So just the contact form could have a little bit uh, style over here. And also let's add in one last thing over here. So why is it doing like this? There's something. Oh, okay. We don't want actually this container to be fluid. Actually, we want it to be just a normal container. So we have that, yeah, like that box sizing. Okay. So let's actually try the form right now. I think we're done actually. So we just have an error over here. So type error E is undefined. Okay, so what did I do wrong in the async function over here? Okay, so I defined the E. Why is it giving me uh, why is it giving me an error over here? That's weird. Okay, so it's just giving me a line 9 right now. E is undefined. While I have it over here. What? Okay, so I think there's something wrong. Maybe you could just like copy this old one over here. It's literally the same thing, but it just looks a little bit weirder. I don't know why. Okay. Uh, okay. So let me just do this, and that we could just change that to form action. Okay. And that is gonna be form action. I'm just gonna get the old one, you guys. So form action and just send email info because I copied the old one. So actually, no, I'm not gonna copy the old one. I'm actually gonna fix that with you guys. So let me just check out what's happening. Like, why isn't giving us the error? Let's just try sending something with it. Okay, at email.com. Okay, let's just continue for now. Okay. So just make sure to have the input type in the email to be email, by the way. Okay, and let's message us right now. Okay, so again, type error. Where's that? Oh, what the heck is happening? Okay, so online. Okay, so it gave us actually okay. I don't know why these weird errors are happening. Like for real, honestly, like I use the same logic over here. It's giving me just some weird errors right now. So I'm just gonna ignore them for the moment. I'm gonna check out right now. Okay, so the test one works, as you can see. Let's actually do that another time. So email, and let's actually name it John Doe, and then John Doe's updated email at email.com. So sorry if it's taking a little bit long, guys. Test 2222. Clear message. Okay, so again, go back over here, and we're done. So that is going to be basically the contact form, you guys. What is really left is just the form and the social media. Again, if you want to do this on your own, this is going to be GUI, so this is very simple. But I'm going to do that for you in the next video. And finally, I'm going to be doing the footer. And basically, we're going to map over objects in the footer to get the links over here. Okay. And the links and the membership cards. And finally, we're going to be deploying the website, all right? And we're going to be fixing also all the errors over here. I'm just going to make sure that there are no errors over here. So just make sure, you guys, that, okay, just to check out if there are any errors and fix them and when we are going to be deploying, okay? So see you guys in the next video. This was Angry Video. Peace. Yo, it's good YouTube. This is Angry Video, and today, you guys, this is going to be the final section in the project. And what we're basically going to be doing is, first of all, we're going to be showing up the challenge that is going to be in the project. And basically, we're going to be doing the footer and the social media, okay? We're not going to be doing the nav dots. I don't think it's necessary. But what I did over here is basically that I assigned just an object for the social media, and inside it I just added in icons, MDB React icons, and just a link, and I mapped over them over here. Okay, so one last thing, just make sure to change all the links as well all in the project to link. Okay, so where are we gonna get that link from? We're gonna import a link, okay, from React root.dom. Okay, so that is gonna be basically in the social media section, the nav section, as well. Change the link over there, and of course in the footer. So here is the example for the footer. Okay, so link as well. Again, I have two objects over here, one for the memberships and one for the links over here. So right now it does not work, as you could see. It actually does work because I did update them, but anyways, uh, so this is the challenge that we're going to be doing over here. Again, just change the links over here, because if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to deploy the website correctly. Okay, and just let me start by fixing the errors in the project. Okay, so I just mentioned comments over here. So just go to your about cards, remove the empty fragment I wrapped over here. Okay, so I'm just tracing out the errors I made. Okay, so you could deploy the project. Number two, in the classes card, just remove that string concatenation. That there was an empty string over here that was like this. So we don't want that. So yeah, as you can see here, that error again. Just remove that and just add in that n that is in the classes card. So if you go into the classes card, you're gonna find that there's gonna be a space as well, but we're not gonna use that empty string. Same thing in the membership card as well. And finally, the navigation bar. Just make sure to remove the home page over here and just use the code that I used over here, which is basically just using two methods. They're replaced, and we don't have any sections, so we don't really need that second replace. So link.replace and just the link, so we don't show the user over here. And finally, to local uppercase, just to make everything uppercase for the pages and everything, okay? So after fixing the errors, you guys, and the challenge for the video, you could basically just deploy the website, and you can deploy it right now if you don't have any errors, if you already fixed that on your own. So just clear and go into your CMD. Do over here in your front end folder, so just cd into your gem front end folder, yarn build. Again, just make sure to have no errors or this will not work. Netlify client. I'm going to search something on Google called Netlify client while this is installing. So npm install Netlify client then globally. So just make sure that is installed. Again, you could just open up another terminal and go into your front end and do Netlify login. Okay, I already did that before, so it's not gonna work. And Netlify init. So after you do Netlify init, it's just gonna basically tell you to create a new project page. So when you create that project page, all you really need to do is just go into your Sanity and just log in, because we're just gonna add in the API access token for the link that you want to deploy to. So just go into API over here and just make sure to add in the course origins for your Netlify application. So we're just gonna leave that later, but after that, all you really need to do after the yarn build is done is just do Netlify deploy and then production, okay? So this is called continuous deployment, by the way. And just make sure to add in the link for your Netlify application over here. You could change the site link from the Netlify itself. So if I just go into Netlify and log in, you could see we just deployed it right now. And here it is. So you have this beautiful gym. And again, I just changed the about page instead of a section to a page on its own, okay? Here's the social media links. Here's the footer. Everything is done. We could also go to the membership page, go to the classes, go to the contact, and everything is working. Let's even test that. Test that email. Deployed successfully. We just need the notification to actually show up. That would be cool. Hey, so that's pretty much it. So we're pretty much done with the series. You guys comment, like, subscribe, and tell me what you think about the series. If you have any questions, I'm gonna put the repository just afterwards. I make a public one for you guys. I'm just gonna remove the API keys. You could do this on your own with the
API keys that you're gonna define for yourself. Alright, so comment, like, and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next series. Peace. This was Angry to you.